You want to know what tools you need for successful magical practice? Watch this video to find out. First off, I'm going to explain to you what kind of tools we need and what others that we can do without. Then I will give you the 2 best tools that you need for your magical practice to have success in it consistently, and they're not what most people think. I can guarantee you that. And I will list all the tools that I have used in the past and that I continue to use even today to produce consistent results for myself and for my clients. Now let's jump right in, but before we do that, I would like you to tell me, what is the most important tool in your magical practice? Let me know your answer in the comment section. I'm excited to hear it. I remember being a beginner many years ago and starting to research magic, wanting to learn magic, and of course if you go and research the most powerful grimoires ever, there are high chances that you will come across the Key of Solomon. And I remember coming to a passage where it said something along the lines that the wand should be of hazel and it should be cut from a tree which is virgin, and that means that it's 1 year old. Also, that the cut should be in one stroke, done on the day of Mercury at the hour of sunrise, which is the hour of Mercury. And I remember thinking, well, that's that gone out of the window. I mean, it's just overwhelming for any beginner to try to actually manifest that. Let's all be honest here. And I just kept on with my studies, and one thing led to the other, and I started practicing magic. At some point I was summoning spirits, making petitions and a temple, all through my mind, and getting results. So it's good to practice rituals, it's good to summon spirits, it's good to petition them, but it's better to get results out of them. So I was getting results and manifestations, and of course the success wasn't as consistent as I am now. I mean, after all, I was a beginner. But I realized that we can really practice magic using our mind alone. Like, everything can be done through the mind. And of course now there's this huge trend with path working, so on and so forth. Whereas at that time, it wasn't, I just wasn't aware of it. Maybe it existed, I just wasn't aware of it. And just, one thing clicked in my mind after the other, and I started using my mind in, unconventional ways, and it just worked. And that made me realize that really we don't need any physical tools. However, that didn't keep my practice from evolving into the physical world, using actual real world tools and implements, so on and so forth. But when you think about it, really, and what I had at that time were 2 tools. The most important tools that I think any serious magician, practitioner, or spiritual person should have in their toolbox. And incidentally, these 2 tools are harder to acquire than the lion's skin belt, and they are a clear mind and a clean heart. So this is very important, especially when we live in the age of distraction, and so much negativity being poured into our realities on a constant basis from all sides, all directions. This is what makes them really hard, and that's why I think really many people struggle to find success in magic. It's because they think it's all about the implements, they think it's all about the conjuration or the materials, whereas before we have all that, we have to be someone who's ready. We have to prepare our body, our heart, our soul to actually practice magic. So I think these are the most important tools that really make or break any ritual. You can have all the implements, the right timing, incense, everything else, but if you don't have these tools handed down and under control in your toolbox that you can just pull them out and use them, you are bound to fail. That's why most people out there, their practice is basically hit and miss. And it's sad that many people accept it as a reality that magic should be hit and miss. But there are many, many, many elements that go into having a successful and consistent magical practice. Now, as I told you before, at some point I was practicing in my mind alone, but that set me up for success when my practice moved into the real world. Now, at that point, I started looking. Of course, I didn't just open any grimoire and got all the implements. This is from my years and years and years of study and research and being guided by the spirits to actually know what I really needed. Now, I don't know about you, but the only thing that matters is the results. not how we get them. Now, of course, one has to have ethics, and some lines are not meant to be crossed, but really, if it doesn't yield better results, for me, it's just useless, and I wouldn't make my practice any more complicated than it needs to be. So as long as I was getting results consistent each and every single time, and now I'm doing it professionally for others, that's really all that matters. And I've done that with a few basic tools, which I'm going to list to you as promised. But before I do that, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more practical content. Now, I have the tools all laid out here. There are a couple more, but I just didn't care to show them because you know what they look like. First things first, what you're gonna need is you're gonna need a ceramic sensor. Okay, this is very important that it's ceramic because ceramic is from the earth and it doesn't have any planetary association, so it won't have any planetary influence to any working that you do. So this way you can have only one sensor. Now, of course, to put in the sensor, you'll need fast light charcoal. And what is this all for? You will need some high quality incense resin. Now, some people say that sticks are fine, but are you satisfied with less than fine results? I mean, spirits don't like us to compromise. I'm not telling you to break the bank and go with your budget. The intention counts, but you should go with the highest quality incense that you can find no matter what. I just don't understand people using hemp sticks nowadays. If you're aiming for the highest quality results, you should putting the quality into your work and also into your implements. Now, what you will need as well is a candle. I mean, this is a mainstay in Magick, of course. There are always candles, and you want something that lasts fairly long. I mean, depending how long you work, my rituals last a fair amount of time, so I make sure to use long candles. And to engrave those candles, you will need some kind of pointy knife. They call it a pen knife. But if you don't have, if your budget is limited, I mean, you could just use a needle. What is very important though is that the needle should be brand new. All right, the sensor should be brand new. Everything, when you're going to start into this kind of practice, everything should be brand new. And it says this in many grimoires. And then once you use it, it should be dedicated to just that. All right, so the sensor is for rituals, the knife is for rituals, and then if you use a needle, as I mentioned before, you want to make sure to reserve that needle for just your rituals. So, what else? I use a blessed oil. This is the same kind of oil that I provide for my healing clients for their spiritual healing. So, I still use it, and I've used it before for ages in my practice. This oil really acts as a screen because, magic is dangerous. All right, people? So when you're doing magical operations, you want to make sure that you have as much protection as humanly possible. Oil is part of it. It's blessed oil. It's a screen between me and the spirits so they can't touch me. And even beyond the oil is water. So this is blessed water. Again, the same kind of water that my spiritual healing clients use. But yeah, this water I have extensively tested, and that's why I know it works. And of course, I still use it until this day for each and every ritual. I make sure that my whole body is purified using this blessed water here to avoid any problems, really. Now, what else? What we have here is a non-alcoholic kind of perfume. This is white musk. White musk really is very present in Arabic magic. We use it in ink and so on and so forth. It really has this beautiful smell, and it's non-alcoholic, so non-offensive. So what I would do is I would just put a little bit here and here, right around my vocal cords. So when I'm speaking and this place becomes hotter, it just drives out this very pleasing odor to the spirits. Let's remember that the spirits are very focused around smell. That's their dominant sense. So I try to appeal to that, but this is not mandatory. Just make sure you're smelling nice when you're preparing and performing your operations. Really, it's like a date. Of course, let's not forget, you need a robe and you need a working station. You always work at the same place. Always, guys, very, very important. If it's on the table, you need a white tablecloth, like bright white, like this kind of white. The robe also this kind of white. I just don't like to make things complicated. There's no blue, red, and this for Mars and this for Jupiter. I keep everything as easy as possible. Of course, now, as I said before, I've moved to professional side of things, and that calls for other preparations. But if you're practicing for yourself, this is literally all you need. So yeah, you've seen it all. No fancy hats, belts, shoes, or swords, or whatever. Really, just a few basic tools can go a long way. But of course, the most important two, as I mentioned before, are your mind and your heart in the right place. Now, if you're looking to practice magic this simple and smart way and getting consistent results as others have done in the past, you're welcome to check out my membership site, the link in the description down below. I'll see you there, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.